Well, this week marked some major changes for subscribers to local newspapers. The Duluth News Tribune and northeastern Minnesota's largest Minnesota paper began its twice-a-week printing schedule, mailing print editions to subscribers on Wednesdays and Saturdays. The News Tribune will continue to publish a digital edition of the paper each day, asking customers to access that content online. Well, here to talk about this major change is Rick Lubbers, the editor of the Duluth News Tribune, and Jennifer Moore is a professor of journalism at the University of Minnesota-Duluth. And thanks to both of you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Rick, what was the real driving force between this decision to cut down to just 2 print versions per week of the newspaper?
Well, with the pandemic that has been ongoing, we saw immediately once that started, the revenue side of things drop quite a bit. The print advertising component of what we do. So that really drove this decision, not only for us, but as I'm sure you've seen all across the country and the region, these sorts of tough decisions being made by newspapers as far as their print products are concerned.
Mm-hmm. So sounds like it was primarily a business economic decision. Do you think it's also in the best interest of the community as you look at the product that you're going to be able to provide to the community?
From the business side of things, had we not made those tough decisions, it really would have put the entire operation in jeopardy as far as what we do as a newsroom. So, you know, as difficult as that change may be for the readers and jarring in some ways, you know, their habit is to read the paper, you know, at the coffee table every day at 6 a.m. or whenever they get that. You know, we feel it's important to also have that replica for them, that electronic edition, the other days of the week, and that will be delivered to them at that same time. And instead of reading the physical paper, you know, at the coffee table, they can do so at their computers or on their phones or tablets or what have you. So that'll be a continuing part of their habit. So they'll still receive that content, but it'll just be on that different platform those other days of the week.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer, as someone who teaches journalism, does this announcement come as a surprise at all to you, or is it to be expected in today's world?
Well, I suppose I was surprised, but I shouldn't have been. I mean, Duluth isn't the first community who's had to have something like this happen to their newspaper. You know, we've had some communities who have lost their daily newspaper altogether. So the fact that the Duluth News Tribune was able to figure out how to still deliver the news daily, you know, most days online now, that's a good thing. So I think we should all be really grateful that we can still have our daily newspaper. Sadly, it's not coming on my doorstep every day either. But no, it's this has been going on now for at least, you know, at least a decade, if not longer. We've seen newspapers having to reduce their print editions or reduce the size of their newspapers, going to maybe not even a 7-day-a-week publishing schedule. So what's great about the DNT right now anyway is that they can keep a 7-day-a-week publishing schedule. It's just not going to be in print all 7 days, sadly.
Mm-hmm. Now, Rick, you switched over to paid subscriptions for online access a few months ago. Mm-hmm. What kind of response was there to that? Did you find that people are willing to pay for online content? Any demographic information about who is willing, who's not willing?
Mm-hmm. With any change like that, you're always going to receive you know, comments on the side of, you know, why do we have to pay for this now? We haven't had to do so in the past. But you know, really, we're switching from a revenue model that was very much dependent on the advertising, and now the model is on the subscription side of things. And really, we're only asking people to pay for online what we've been asking the print subscribers to pay for all along. So, you know, it's a bit of a fairness thing too, you know, from our perspective that, you know, we feel that content is important. And if we're going to ask one part of our subscribers to pay for it, we really should ask all of them. And I think a majority of them have embraced it and realized that, you know, this content is important to them and they want to receive it, and they're willing to pay to do that.
Mm-hmm. Will they be getting any sort of a break on the subscription cost?
You know, as far as there's various deals that you know, circulation runs from time to time. So, you know, I believe that the digital product is actually a bit cheaper than the print product. So, people that subscribe right now can get access to the digital edition and the website content for a cheaper price than the print product right now.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer, do you anticipate that it's going to be a hard sell for people to switch over from that daily newspaper that they're so used to holding in the morning with their cup of coffee? How do you make that transition?
Well, it's a tough one. I mean, it's talking about news habits, right? I mean, people still want their daily news. I think we're going to run into issues of people who normally don't go online for their news at all, so they might have to pick up some new habits. If they can afford the technology that they need to get online to read the news. We have, areas that aren't even that far away from the city of Duluth where even if you want to buy internet access, you can't because it's not available in your area. So there's some other issues that come up with this, to think about in terms of even if you want to get online, can you? But I would sure hope that, it's not a big price to pay for the work that journalists do to report on the things that we need to know as citizens of this community. So I would hope that it's going to, I think one thing that COVID has done is has opened up a lot of things that we need to think about in terms of access to the internet as well as, the importance of journalism. So I would certainly hope people will do what they can to continue to subscribe to the DNT and their other local newspapers as well.
Mm-hmm. What kind of content could people expect from the print versions? Are you going to try to do like news of that day? Is it going to be a recap of the week? It's got to be somewhat difficult to try to stay fresh and current in a 24-hour news cycle sort of a scenario.
Yeah, it is a bit of a planning thing, right? Where we know that we're producing content that's being placed continually on the website 24/7. We also have the electronic editions to plan for and the print edition. Really our focus for the print edition is really to have what we would consider to be evergreen stories, maybe stories that go in depth into an issue, investigative type of pieces, those things that have much more of a longer shelf life than that very quick breaking news that can get very old very quickly. So we might take a big issue in Duluth, for instance, and then dive deep into that issue and have that sort of content available for these print editions.
Mm-hmm. Do you see a day when the print editions are going to disappear altogether?
I don't foresee it happening all that quickly, personally. Through this process, we have heard from a number of longtime readers who, again, as Jennifer has said, it's part of their habit, that they wake up and they want to read a newspaper, and I think it has a lot of value to them, and it's part of their daily lifestyle. And I think as long as there are readers that value that sort of experience with the news, we're going to have print for a while. But and we have seen the numbers go down certainly over the years because the majority of people now receive their news digitally, and that number is only going to continue to grow. And the pandemic probably really sped up this process by several years. In some estimates, it's about 5 years that we may have made this decision on our own without a pandemic. But I think print will have a place for quite some time.
Any quick lesson that you would share with your students as you look at this pivotal moment in history?
I always tell them to prepare for uncertainty and embrace uncertainty. I think one thing is that, journalism is more important than ever. We're consuming news more than we ever have been before, and they just need to learn how to roll with those changes too. So it'll be really good to see them back here in the fall, and we'll be able to talk about this and more changes that will be coming to the news industry.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for coming in and sharing the information. Good luck as you go forward with the paper. It's an important resource in the community.
Appreciate that.